Welcome to the DYNAMO Show. This is episode 15. My name is James Erdt. I am the chief architect of WOW for a brand called DYNAMO Entrepreneur. We support entrepreneurs in living well, predominantly speakers, authors, coaches, internet marketers, all kinds of experts, predominantly social entrepreneurs that are not only putting the oxygen mask on themselves, but also on the community. And today we have one of them, Mr. Chris Woods.
My friend.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I am so honored to have you here. I've been a fan for quite some time. You know, we'll get into the whole food thing. You know, I'm a big foodie. However, let's take it back. Let's take it back because I know you started your culinary arts, we'll call it, at a very young age.
6 years old.
6?
I started cooking when I was 6 years old. My mother had me in a kitchen cooking.
Oh, wow.
Making dinner for the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Because I was the one that liked what she did. She was a home ec teacher. So actually I blame her for me working every weekend for the last 30 years.
Oh, wild, wild, wild. Were you on the straight and narrow because of that? Because you were like focused on something? Were you always into cooking?
Always into cooking.
Really?
Always. First job, 14, washing dishes, busboy.
Yeah,
in a little restaurant called JB's Family Restaurant, which is owned by John Beliveau.
So
if you remember him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now, when did you decide to become a chef?
Well, when I finished high school, and I was a young rock star, and thought to myself, when my mom came, she goes, go to culinary school.
Okay.
This is what you're good at. Go there. This is your unique ability. And I said, you know, my hair was down to here. We were young, we were partying. Yeah, sure, okay, Mom. But I went, and they had this little German teacher, Freddie Scholl, was the director of the program. And I just sort of like fit under his wing, and I just loved it.
Oh, wow.
I just soaked it all up. It was like crazy poison.
That's awesome.
I just rocked it.
Right on.
I never looked back.
So then you got into business of, you know,
I went
corporate or entrepreneurship? Or both?
Entrepreneurship. I basically started when I came out of college. I went right into a hotel. And one night my mom said to me, okay, we're having the bridge party over. Can you cook a dinner party for us? And I said, yeah, it's Saturday night. I was living at home. I said, sure, Mom, no problem. For the bridge club, I love these girls. And so one of the ladies said, I'm having an engagement party for my son. He's getting married at the Lambton Golf Club, but listen, why don't you cook us an engagement party? And I said, well, I've never really done it before because I just work in different departments in the hotel. Sure, why not? So I gave my mom and dad $30, said, off you go for Chinese food. I used my mom's kitchen. It was 60 people for this party.
Oh, wow.
And I had a little Toyota Tercel, and I had everything in foil pans packed in this car, and I went down to their house and cooked this party. I came home, and I said to my dad, I said, Dad, this is what I'm supposed to do.
No way.
I'm supposed to own my own catering company. I knew right away. That was your big aha. And my father was a high school principal.
How young were you?
I was 21.
21.
And my father was a high school principal at Thistletown High School at the time. A vocational school, and he said, you make the menus, I'll take them to school, I'll get the kids to do it as a project for me.
Nice.
And then I started walking door to door.
Lots of support, eh?
Just door to door, delivering flyers. That's how I started. So I got 2 other part-time jobs working at other places, and I told people, I said, give me the crummy shifts, because hopefully I want to have the weekends off, because that's when I'm going to be catering.
Wow.
And so every morning I'd get up with my handful of flyers and target my market, because once you know your target, so all the beautiful neighborhoods of Toronto, Mississauga, Brampton, because I'm from Brampton.
Yeah, okay.
I grew up, that's where my target market was all the doctors and all the lawyers, because my father was prominent. He was on the campaign for the mayor at the time.
That's right.
He was the president of the Brampton Hockey League.
Okay,
so
great.
all these people already knew me. He was well known, so it was
tapping
good.
into his network.
I sort of tapped into Dad's network and all the people and all the the politicians and the head construction people out in Brampton, the Rice Construction. I've been cooking for that family for 30 years.
Now I know you know a lot regarding the food industry. Talk to me about the slow food movement in Canada right now.
Well, it's a tough movement. You know, as you know, it was pretty much started in Italy and in California with Thomas Keller, but it's really easy to have a slow food movement when you live in California.
Yeah.
It's a little tougher in Canada.
Our
market, our growing season's a little shorter. So like right now we're going into the slow food movement of potatoes and squash and beets, all the root vegetables, because everything else is very much almost done. So we're trying. We have a lot of artisan farmers. It's very hard to get an organic designation in Toronto or in Canada, or at least in Ontario. It's very expensive for farmers to get these things.
Yes, it is.
But like 90% of stuff we're eating is mostly organic. It's just that they don't have designations on it.
So the company you have now, okay, when did it start? How did you start it? Why did you start it?
I started that 26 years ago, and I started it because I knew this is what I was supposed to do.
How young are you? Care to share?
52.
Come on, I wouldn't give you a day over 51.
You're very kind. You're very kind, old man. You're very kind.
Let's talk about that business, because I know you're having like outrageous success. You know, you're so well known in the industry.
It's growing hand over fist. I just built a 4,000 square foot. Balance.
Balance.
I take 6 10-day holidays a year, no cell phone, no computers.
Wow.
And I take it out of the country.
Wow, I think
one. No, you have to learn how to balance that out.
Yes,
and then it's all about your rejuvenation time.
Yeah.
And you're using, your process.
I love that word, rejuvenation.
And your unique process.
Yeah. Do you eat healthy?
I eat very healthy, work out 4 times a week.
Scale of 1 to 10, how healthy do you eat?
9.
A 9.
Well, I'm also a private chef for a family, and haven't cooked in 17 years.
You know all these diet books, we'll call it out there. I mean, I don't even like the word diet. Diet starts with die. It's like starvation, but for lack of a better word for our viewers, I use Nutrition Plan. You know, I'm quite up to speed with nutrition planning. I've been a nutrition specialist. I've trained all kinds of athletes and fitness models on the covers of the magazines. I have my own belief systems in regards to what system works for me and for my clients. What system works for you?
The one I'm using right now, I eat in the paleo diet.
Okay.
And I've got a lot of clients. I got a couple hockey players and a couple other people that I cook personally for when they want to get into shape, and I put them into the paleo. I find it's one of the better programs. I've done South Beach, I've done The Zone, I've read every diet book on the planet, because I have people.
I'm a Zone fan.
The Zone, that's the first one I started with. That was the first one I started with.
I'm interested in learning about the paleo.
Everything is all good. It's all.
There's a big paleo movement going on.
It's huge right now. It's huge, but it's just simple.
Why? Why is it growing so fast?
Because it's easy.
It's easy.
It's just easy.
It's like caveman stuff.
It's just protein and vegetables. You can eat as much as you want.
Yeah.
As much as you want.
It's simple.
You just got to keep away from your grains, keep away from your cheese and your dairy, which is hard, but you always have to have your cheat day.
Yeah.
5 out of 7 is really good.
Who inspires Chris Woods?
Who inspires me?
2, 3 people that maybe get the juices flowing.
I think I'm the one that inspires myself, because I get up every morning, and once again, it's all about your gratitude, thanking everyone who works for you, your team that works for you. I've got a fabulous team of people that work for me.
Yeah.
You're not here without your team.
You aren't.
And I'm not here without my team. They all make me look good.
Yeah, they do.
And that's what it's all about.
My team did my hair today.
They did a great job. I like the way they did the little thing on the side. It's pretty cool.
Let's say some younger chef entrepreneurs that are getting into this space. Share with them maybe a few nuggets, 2, 3 nuggets. How do you get into the space, and how do you become successful like Chris Woods?
You got to be really crazy passionate about what we do. This is probably one of the toughest jobs on the planet.
True.
I always tell the young chefs that come into my kitchen, please, you can start here. You learn a lot in my industry because it's catering. We cook something different every day. But all the young kids that I go to talk to at schools and things, I tell them, go to the hotel. Work with 200 chefs. Watch everyone. Everyone. Pull an idea from everybody you see. It's all about knowledge about food. And if anybody ever tells you that they know everything about food, run away from that person. Anyone who has a huge ego, run away from those people. You don't want to hang around those people. We're cooks, and our job is to make people happy with what we serve them. And if you can do that, that's goosebumps when I talk about this kind of stuff.
Passion. I love it.
Dude, it's all about feeding people, feeding the planet. I only cook healthy, use the most organic products I can get for my clients because that's what they want.
Yeah, yeah. How do they actually find you to get some of this great cooking?
I'm really easy to find. You can Google me all over the place.
It's true.
It's Christopher Woods Catering Events is the name of .com is the name of the website. You can go to the Famous People's Players Theater.
Yeah.
I'm all over their website because it's a famous charity that I work with.
You do. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming to the show.
Thank you,
my name is James Erdt. We're going to cut to a short commercial break, and we will be right back with episode 15 of the Dynamo Show. Welcome back to the Dynamo Show. My name is James Erdt. I'm the Chief Architect of WOW for DYNAMO Entrepreneur. We are going to continue things with a really great friend of mine, Sandra Nash. I am so happy to have you on the show.
Love to be here.
I am such a fan. I know both of us are kind of into that whole interior design space. You as a business, me as a hobby. We'll get into that in a second, okay? Let's take it back. Let's go back in the day a little bit and talk a little bit about your younger years. I love to start there because I know you have quite a story.
We all have a story, don't we?
We all do.
It makes you who you are today.
Isn't that true?
I was working for an insurance company. Or do you want to even go younger than that?
Younger. Let's talk teens, 20s. Where did it start?
I guess in my teens, I was taking art and creative stuff. I got into the corporate world and then realized, I had more, I was more passionate, I guess, when I was creating things. And it started when I bought my first house at the age of 23.
Really?
I can't believe I did that.
Wow. Good for you.
I had to drive an hour to work, but and decorated my first house. And next thing you know, I was decorating everybody's houses and the realtors, and I bought and sold some houses, and the realtors were the ones that said, hey, you should do this for a living.
So you were working side by side with them?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Any corporate positions? Were you always kind of an entrepreneur, or did you start corporately?
No, so I was in the corporate world, in the insurance industry, which I figured there's always going to be a need for that industry, which I was right.
Yes,
and I worked for the largest insurance company in the world, and it was great because I could actually work with the people. I found that it was the people I was more connected with than the actual tasks. So I would go into departments and run the department, but I had no idea what they did. But I could motivate the people.
Very good, very good.
So it taught me a lot for running my business, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's great, that's great. Now, where did you pull your inspiration from? Let's start there.
Well, I have to say, first and foremost, it comes from the fashion industry.
Okay, that's cool. You're very fashionable. I love these boots, look at these boots. Those are great.
Thanks. Premiere for today, that's it.
Yeah.
But fashion, basically think of a black dress.
Okay.
You can have a plain black dress, or you can accessorize it and completely change the look of it.
Yeah.
But I also travel all over the world. North Carolina actually is one of the world's largest trade shows. It's 13 million square feet.
For interior design?
Yeah, 200 buildings the size of the Sky Dome. Imagine trying to cover that in 5 days. 13 million square feet. It's crazy.
Wow.
And there's 80,000 people from around the world that all come with their inspiration.
All industry peoples, or is it open
yes.
to the public?
No, just industry.
Okay.
They bring in 10,000 chefs because there's so many people. They don't want you to leave their booth, so they really
take it.
Yeah. But lots of inspiration. I actually went on a trade mission with the Canadian government to export my product and ended up importing probably a couple $1 million a year 10 years ago. And it's kept on going. Yeah.
Now I know in any business, you know, there's highs and there's lows, and there's good and there's bad and there's weird. Okay. Now I've been in some houses where it is like very distasteful. You know, having the eye for color, having the eye for design. You know, some of the designs, you know, in my own personal opinion, I do a great job. However, but I've been in some like craziness, you know, and I'm sure you have. Care to share any crazy stories?
Crazy stories. Well, where do I start with that one? Basically, it's about getting it to the person's personality and lifestyle.
Yep.
It's not about setting a movie set or a stage for everyone else to judge you. It's about setting a lifestyle stage for yourself to live in. So, crazy stories. I've done houses as much as $23 million that had bowling alleys in them. I would lose my tradespeople in the home because I thought they left and they thought I left. I've done yachts. Yeah, so it's the bars and restaurants are interesting because it's the experience that you're creating for the people who come to it. So you have to understand who's going to it.
Atmospheric design, I call that. I used to own a nightclub, so I called it atmospheric design.
Well, there
you're kind of touching visual, audio, kinesthetic. It's not just the visual.
Exactly.
Right? Any big messes you walked into that you had to clean up?
So I specialize in doing builder show homes. So my first job ever was when someone else was supposed to do it and for whatever reason couldn't in the timeline. So I got called in to do it with 2 weeks notice, and literally I was hanging drapes on wet paint. You know, they were still tiling the floor. They're bringing in trays of glassware and stuff for the catered event. They had 1,000 people coming, and we're trying to move toolboxes to. Anyways, we made it work and they never knew. And then we were just finished and we turned around and the kitchen guy came through with the muddy footprints on the white carpet.
Oh boy.
All the way up to the upstairs. And we're all wearing little booties, like what? You know, and anyways, yeah, so that he was busted that day, boy. But yeah, so we're scrubbing the floor with 5 minutes before everyone showed up.
Now I know you do a lot of different appearances, television and radio, etc. With all these do-it-yourself TV shows, okay? Why hire a designer? Why hire a designer? You know, people like myself that are like the point and clickers or the ones that like to do it themselves, you know. Why would I hire a designer?
Well, first of all, it's a very steep learning curve, and it's very costly to make a mistake. So if you go and tile your floor, for example, and then decide you don't like it, that's pretty expensive to try and fix it. It is a very long learning curve, and we get discounts on things. What you see in Canada is about 10% what's really out there. When I go to North Carolina, you would not believe what's there, especially when the dollar's high. We don't see that filter into the places here. So, you know, we can pool our resources and actually purchase things that you would never otherwise see that are better quality. You know, there's a lot being said right now about the disposable furniture, not to name names of companies that produce it, which is great when you're in university, but it's filling our landfills and causing all kinds of issues. So having the right design that's functional, that makes your life more, your life is easier too.
What would you say some of the biggest challenges of the industry are, or maybe a challenge that you maybe you've encountered yourself?
It's a huge, I've seen it change. I've been in, sorry, I have to say, I've been in it 20 years.
Come on.
Okay, maybe
so you started when you were 6.
Maybe more, thank you. Oh, I love this guy. Basically, the internet changes, so everyone thinks, oh, I may present something to someone, and they'll try and shop it around, or they feel like, you know, it's easier. DIY on TV has made it look like it's done very quick. What you don't see is the 20 camera crew and or crew that's in the background and what's really going on behind the scenes. Yeah, exactly. And they think, oh, that's easy, I can do that. And until you do it yourself, you don't know. And sometimes it's too expensive to fix it afterwards. And living through a renovation, if anyone's done that, is a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's so stressful. Yeah. So doing it right once makes sense.
So you got husbands, you got wives.
Husbands.
Okay, husbands and wives, or husbands and husbands, or wives and wives.
I'm the marriage counselor. Yes.
You know, we go into a unit and you have conflicting opinions. How do you become that mediator?
Exactly, and that's probably one of my strongest strengths that I learned in the insurance industry when I worked and managed people. Basically, I have to get into their mindset and figure out what they want when they don't even know. And it may not just be a husband and wife, it may be partners in a business when I'm decorating. It could be, you know, this one's worried about the dollar and this one's worried about the look, and they've never discussed it. They don't understand the long-term effects of their decisions. So it's getting in their mind, getting them all on the same page, and then making them decide collectively.
I love it, I love it. Now, is it about nails and paint, or is it deeper than that? Is there a big why? Why do you do this?
Why do I do this, or why should someone else do it?
Why do you do this? Why does Sandra do this?
I love making a house a home. Making a space that's personal for you, that's not a cookie cutter, that basically makes you more effective, you rest better at night. You know, a lot can be said about it, especially once you've experienced it. It's like anything. By contrast, unless you've experienced it, you don't know you're missing it.
I know. On a final note, maybe talk a little bit to the audience, you know, maybe 2-3 tips that they can implement into their own interior design sets.
Well, I would say to get inspired, to be inspired, to do your research. Obviously the internet, there's a great website. Can I say it?
You can.
No, it's not mine, and I'm not affiliated or anything, but there's a website called Houzz, H-O-U-Z-Z. And you can type in, there's I think 18 million images on there. You can type in anything and basically make a portfolio of what it is that you like. Maybe you're in a restaurant or a hotel. What is it you like about that space? Take a photo and focus on each thing, not necessarily the total look of it, but what it is you like about it. And make a plan and make a budget and think about it over a 10-year period. Too many times we look at it over a 10-month period.
It's true.
Budget it, divide it into the 10 years, and it's an investment.
And hire Sandra Nash. How did they find you?
So my company's called Making a Scene, so www.making-a-scene, scene spelled S-C-E-N-E.com.
I love it. Thank you so much, Sandra Nash.
Thank you.
How awesome is that? I'm inspired, are you? We will see you back on episode 15 of The Dynamo Show. Welcome back to The Dynamo Show. This is episode 15, where we interview movers, shakers, doers, and athletes. Today we have one of them here, Mr. David Cooper. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. You know, I gotta say, you're our first real, true professional athlete that's been on the show. It's been, you know, a lot of wannabes, I guess we could say, and a ton of really great entrepreneurs. But you're both. You're both that entrepreneur and you're the athlete, and we're gonna get into all that. However, let's take it back. Let's go back in the day. Let's go back in the ball court in high school. You know, let's start there.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, funny. I started playing sports probably when I was about 9 years old. It was in South Florida, Miami, South Florida, Broward County.
That's why you're a Heat fan.
Yes, die-hard Heat fan from South Florida. And it was my aunt, actually my Auntie Pat, who brought me my first Miami Heat game. And when they first came out.
Before the Raptors.
Before the Raptors. Before there was any, before LeBron, before any of this happened. Before the Six happened, before the Raptors was. And we went, and once I went there, I had a great time, and I saw the players, I saw everything. I said, no, one day I want to become a professional athlete.
That's awesome.
And it started there.
Yeah. And were you focused on school? Were you a good kid? Did you fall off track ever, or did sports keep you on the straight and narrow?
Well, you know, it's funny. Sports helped a lot. So we lived in South Florida, and at the time it was a great place. There was, you know, obviously there was obstacles and different things that you had to overcome. And
of course.
One of the things that my parents, they did a phenomenal job. My dad and my mom and my brother just raised me to be focused and to have a why, have a passion from a young age. And my dad was a minister, so we traveled all over, you know, helping people and doing those things. So I said, you know what, I
partook in all that.
Took all that in, and
and
I think it kind of helped me become what I wanted to be in terms of an athlete.
Now, do you come from a string of athletes? Is there a family line of athletes, or are you kind of on your own?
Well, you know, we do. I was inspired by one of my cousins, Gabriel Frazier. He played football.
Are they all short like you?
Yeah, he's actually, I took all the height from him. He took all the muscle in the family.
There you go.
And he inspired me, and a lot of my cousins wrestled and played football and and everything like that. So it was one of those things where it's either you're going to perform, become a musician, or a singer, something like that. In our family, we have a lot of that.
Okay, good.
And
performers?
Yeah, some performers.
Yeah, right on. Talented family?
Yes, very talented.
Now, any other sports on the radar? I mean, basketball, you know, it's great to have it because you're primary, but did you ever do any like cross-season, off-season stuff, or get into any other team sports?
Yes, actually I played, football was my first love.
Okay.
Football was my first love in South Florida.
What team?
I played for Miramar.
Yeah, what NFL?
Pardon me?
What's your fave?
My fave? Miami Dolphins.
Oh, there you go.
Dolphins fan.
Hardcore Miami fan.
Hardcore Florida boy, South Florida, Miami.
That's
all Miami.
That's it.
Yeah, so, yeah, and then from there I started playing basketball later on in my life, in high school, but I always started football as my first love.
Any injuries?
I did.
Yeah, big ones?
Yeah, a lot of big ones. I had
a lot of big ones.
A lot of big ones.
Okay, okay.
That's what kind of had me retire early. And,
for real?
I had
How young are you now?
I'm 33.
33. Yeah, when you retire?
I retired about 6 years ago. I was about 26.
Okay,
27.
Care to share?
Yeah, sure. During university, actually, I went to James Erdt University. I played Division I there, and was excited. I thought my future was pretty bright there, but unfortunately, I got a knee surgery, and after my knee surgery, I came back and had another one, the so-called microfracture surgery, which is pretty hard. Fracture, which is it's in the knees, pretty hard to come back from. And once I started making some strides and really coming back, in November of 2005, I got into a car accident, and that pretty much put me under in terms of me being able to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And so I played professionally afterwards. I played for about 3 or 4 years. I had a chance to travel all over the world and play.
Oh, how great is that?
Yeah,
Any favorite places that you played?
Yes, Singapore.
No way.
Singapore, yes.
That's on my bucket list. I just love everything about Singapore. It's a beautiful, fascinating city, eh?
It is.
I heard it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And,
I heard you can't even like chew gum, or what is it, like spit gum out or something like
yes.
that? Or you get caught spitting gum, you go like, you know, you get your arm cut off or something.
No, you know what's so funny is that you know, when we went over there, it was one of the things that we'd heard about, because it wasn't too far from the time frame that an American had went over there. I think he had graffiti the wall, and he had to get lashes. So, you know, we were hearing all these rules that you can't chew gum if they catch you spitting gum or spitting on the sidewalk. And so everyone's just all...
For real?
Yeah, but you know, it's funny. It's kind of the exact opposite. Yeah. They kind of really take pride in where they are.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those things where if you're caught doing something, then you're in trouble. It's more like they take pride in it. So when you look at where they are and you see the place, you want to throw away your wrapper, or you want to...
Can they play ball?
Huh?
Can they play ball?
Yeah, they can play. They can
For
play,
real?
and they're passionate. They're very passionate.
What country would you say surprised you the most? What country of athletes?
Of athletes, I think the country of athletes that surprised me the most, I'd say is Puerto Rico. Even though it's a U.S. territory, they're pretty passionate about it in Puerto Rico.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about Europe? Any countries that stand out in Europe?
Yes. Well, there's a few countries. I visited some countries in Europe. I never played in Europe, in China, and in the Caribbean, but Greece.
Greece, the Greeks, eh?
Greece. Oh man.
Yeah, they love the ball.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah,
they love it. Greece is
Any
very
football,
passionate.
or we call it soccer over here? Did you ever get into that? Are you a fan?
Oh yeah. Well, my dad was always a fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, we grew up with soccer first.
Okay,
soccer
good.
first.
I like your dad.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
soccer first for me, man. Yeah. What's his team?
Well, his team was Brazil.
Brazil.
Okay. He's Jamaican heritage.
I'm German.
Oh, really?
We won't go there.
Yeah,
I'm a big Bayern Munich fan.
Okay.
You know, so I love my ball. I played soccer for quite a few years competitively. So.
Then
I had my own injuries. Those injuries, they happen, you know, as you know, I was in extreme sports as well. Did you do any extreme sports?
No, I didn't. I love watching it and wishing.
No jumping out of planes?
No jumping out of planes.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. That's coming soon. That's next chapter.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah.
What's next?
Oh, yeah.
I got a jump coming up for a group of fellas.
Hey.
I might commit you right here on television.
Hey,
He's
let's
like,
do it.
he's like, that was a joke, man.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but it's good though.
What's next for you in regards to sports? Are you like seriously going to undertake anything else? Are you going to coach some young fellas?
Yes, I mean that's where my passion lies.
For real.
In coaching,
Nice.
coaching, teaching, and giving back.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the sport, love the game of basketball, love sports altogether because of what you learn, what you grow from, all the values that's taught there, and coaching is definitely where I'm going to spend a lot of my time.
Now your father, he was very religious, obviously, in the path that he took. Now, did you follow suit with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of principles that I grew up with guiding principles. I think really helped shape who I am and give me a passion for people. I just love people. I love to see them develop and grow. We don't see everything eye to eye, and
of course, we never do.
We never do,
until we're older.
Yes,
and they were like, that's what the heck they were doing.
That's what they meant by that.
Yeah.
No,
told me 8 million times. I get it now.
Right.
I get it now.
Right. No, it's true.
Any crazy stories? Anything that comes to mind during your career?
Man.
Think of something whack?
Oh my God.
You got a lot. I see it right there in your eyes. You're like, oh boy, where do I start?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. There's so many crazy stories. I mean, I've
something fun.
Something fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. Well, I guess one intriguing story was when we were coming in, we were flying in for a game. I was in Singapore, and we were there, ready to go. We were supposed to be playing, all set, and we come and get the report that our luggage hasn't come in yet. And in our luggage has all the jerseys, the uniforms, all the gear.
Yeah.
So pretty much we're all sitting there and waiting, pretty much in the locker room with nothing.
Okay.
So we're walking around like underwear and just the game's going. Everyone's kind of like, can we do an interview? And everyone's kind of like, oh. When the clothes come, so that was pretty funny how it all kind of turned out and worked out. It was pretty cool.
That affects the whole team.
The whole team.
Yeah.
The whole team. Everyone's kind of
out
out there
waiting. For that, or was it the airline?
No, it was the airline. It was the airline. So
those things happen, man.
They
you just gotta roll with the punches.
Just gotta roll with it. And
yeah. Well, I mean, big why. We're gonna get into that right after the commercial break, but I just want to kind of paraphrase it right now. I know you're a big fan of working with youth and stuff like that and kids.
Absolutely.
Are there any kids that really stand out? Any one individual child that maybe you supported?
Oh man,
there's always one.
There's always one. There is. There's a few kids that have been very, very special that I've been able to work with. One special kid I got a chance to work with. He's out in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. There was two really, Adam Lambert and Julian Roach. But this young man, Julian Roach, super passionate, worked really, really hard. No one knew who he was, and ended up not only becoming a basketball player, but getting a full $280,000 scholarship to go to Santa Clara University. Yeah, so.
Hold that thought. We're going to come back to that.
Awesome.
Wow. David Cooper, myself, James Erdt, we are on the Dynamo Show, and we're going to come right back after this short commercial break. And welcome back to the Dynamo Show. I am your host, James Erdt. We're here with David Cooper, not only an athlete, but an entrepreneur. Now, let's talk skills, okay? You got all kinds of skills as an athlete, okay? It takes skills to be an entrepreneur. Are there any similarities?
Oh, absolutely. It's the same. It's the same. The same hard work, commitment, dedication, focus that it takes to be a professional athlete is the same thing you need to apply in business. And that go-getterness, go get it. Go after it, and there's going to be ups, downs, failures, but keep pushing through. It's like a mirror image.
It is. So what was the big decision from going from like semi-pro athletics, right into entrepreneurship or being your own boss, we'll call it, Why?
Why? Well, you know what? I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of both. There was a team that I owned, 2007. Owned, yes.
For real?
Yes, I was a player owner. I had a chance to do a little bit of both.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty neat. And you know, unfortunately, because of my knee injuries, I knew that getting to that next level was probably not going to be there. But being able to have a business and being able to help people and to work and to mentor and give back would be something that I would really be passionate about. So it was an easier transition to go from owning a team to running it to coaching, and then stepping off the court and up into the office. So
it's all community, and I know you're a big fan of community, you know, and the community that we're going to talk about is Mississauga. Okay, represent the 9,
yes,
the 9.
Yes.
I'm Marilyn Monroe Towers 9.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm a big fan of Mississauga. I was an Oakville boy. You know, I went from London to Oakville to now Mississauga.
Okay.
I found my home. I planted my flag.
Yes.
And obviously you have. Tell me about Mississauga and community for you.
Oh man, Mississauga is a beautiful community.
It is.
Beautiful
Rising,
community.
rising fast.
Rising very, very fast.
Yeah.
And that whole Peel area is just awesome.
That's true.
It's awesome. And you know, we have a program there in Mississauga, GTA Prep, that's located in Mississauga.
Yeah, GTA Prep,
yes,
right?
Yes.
.com.
.com.
GTAprep.com. Check it out, everyone. Tell us about it. And is it for poor kids and rich kids, both kids, all kids?
All kids, everybody. Well, you know what? It is open for everybody. For that. You know, for kids that's privileged, kids that may not have such an opportunity, and what it is it's a prep program for young men and young women coming next year that want to play at the highest level, using basketball as a conduit. To be able to get to university and potentially get full scholarship.
For
the university paid for.
Any success stories?
So far, we have a few. There's one special. A young man, there's a couple, especially, but one special, AJ Lawson. Okay. Another one, Jaden Campbell, that right now they're, and DeAndre Pierre, that's being looked at by a lot of universities in the States for full scholarships.
How exciting is that?
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah, those are big testimonials.
Yes.
You know, we work with a lot of kids in the Jane and Finch region, right? So there's a ball program there. We've had a few scholarships come out of there. So imagine going from way down here to scholarship.
Oh,
the path that has to happen and take, and the guidance and the support and the love.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not just the individual, it's the community around that individual supporting them. And we all know how important that is.
It's very important.
It's very important.
And it's funny, it's people that usually are involved that really understand that, how important that is that the community has to be involved in it. It's not going to be one coach or one parent that's going to change their lives. It's the community altogether.
It's not just on the ball court.
True.
You know, it's in the home, in the household, at school, you know, everything to keep that boy on point. Or girl, right?
That's true.
BishopElite.com.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, so BishopElite.com. So
Elite.
Yes.
Bad.
No, it's BishopElite.com. Yeah, great. And what it is so BishopElite.com it's a program that does training and development. So we help young people, young men, boys and girls, become better in the game of basketball, but we use it as a conduit for life and life
coaching style.
Life coaching.
Yeah.
And so our whole thing is being the best is not being better than anyone else, is being better than yourself.
Yeah.
And pushing yourself every day. And so we use Bishop Elite as a way to mentor, work with young people, and then some of the kids there that do well, they can move on to have different opportunities like GTA Prep.
Okay.
And so
teach the teachers how to teach the teachers, and everybody eats.
Everybody, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. They're fishing for the day.
That's
they're teaching the fishing. So, I mean, that's been phenomenal, and we're seeing a great increase of participants, and seeing a lot of growth from a lot of young people that's there.
What about nettimemarketing.com?
Nettimemarketing.com. So
got them all in there, man.
We got them all in there, yes. So Nettime Marketing is a marketing consulting firm that deals in sports, and it helps not-for-profit organizations. It helps professional sports teams and leagues.
What kind of not-for-profits?
Not-for-profits, usually sports-related not-for-profits.
Okay.
Those
all youth-related?
Youth-related. A lot of them are youth-related, but also special needs as well. That just work to help create an impact in their communities, and they help them in terms of fundraising, in terms of marketing, in terms of just all-out mentorship for new entrepreneurs.
I just love anything youth-related. I'm all over it. Right now, we're actually building an at-risk teens ranch up between Brampton, Caledon area. It's working with ex-gangbangers, current gangbangers, kids that are facing time. They're going through the judicial system. They're all between the ages of 12 to 17. But
awesome.
a big thing is keeping them active, keeping them focused. We have a permanent facility that's being built. We got all kinds of support. I actually just had Gary Vaynerchuk. He's an internet entrepreneur. He gave us $50K a couple Wednesdays ago. We had a big real estate guy in Toronto, mirror that, gave us another $50K, another speaker, another $10K. Some kid ran up to me, gave me $500, 20-year-old kid. He's like, I love what you're doing. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm so passionate about you helping these kids. You know, another friend gave a grand. We did, I think it was like $111,500, okay, based on the concept of this ranch opening up for these boys, okay? One of the things we want to implement is sport. Any suggestions or tips for me and my team to work with these boys?
Wow, I tell you, the first thing I would say is that so fortunate for those young men, and so fortunate for you. I think the growth comes really from us, teaching, giving back. More growth comes from us than even sometimes it impacts them. And one of the things I would say is that really encourage them to find a passion within that sport that you can use to be able to mirror different things in their life. Because when I realize is that sports just opens up so many doors and avenues in terms of understanding discipline and focus. And one thing I love is that being able to try and fail. I think it's one of the biggest things that a lot of youth that struggle from the inner city, having grown up in some different situations, seeing some things, I understand that it's usually that opportunity and that fear of failure and the unknowing. So
sometimes even the fear of success.
Fear of success, I think sometimes is probably the biggest, to be honest.
Then you got something to lose.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to fight for something to maintain it. As they always say, it's harder for you to maintain something than it is to actually attain it.
That's right. And even harder to sustain it.
Yes.
Right. So let's say we put up a net at the ranch. Okay, it's actually called Reviver.
Okay.
R-E-V-I-V-E-R. So it goes backwards and frontwards. It's the same, and the eye is in the middle, right? So it's like these wings spreading for these young boys. So if we were to invite you to come out and shoot some 21 with the boys, would you consider it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe on a final note, let's talk to the youth, okay? Look into the camera and tell some of these young kids how to stay on the straight and narrow.
Oh, awesome. Well, I say this. I say the first thing I would tell any youth, and we always tell our youth, is to find a passion, find your why. Ask yourself why you're doing whatever you're doing, and once you find that why and passion, then go after whatever that thing is with everything you have. And don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about who's saying, your naysayers. And I always say this: have your dream and believe in that dream. And if your dream is big enough that the person next to you feels that you can accomplish it, then it needs to be bigger. Make a dream that's outrageous, outlandish, and go after it with everything you have. And I think once that happens, your focus, your discipline, your dedication, who you are as an individual to the core will change, and you become the best person you can be. So that's my advice to anybody in any situation, any youth, is to go after it. Go after your passion. Find your why and your dream.
I love it. How do they find David Cooper?
You can find David Cooper. All the wanted posters around the city, you'll find it. But no, really. No, you can find me at gtaprep.com. You'll see me there. Also bishofelitecanada.com and at nighttimemarketing.com. Any one of those, you'll be able to find emails and everything about it. And you'll be able to see me, and then we can hang out.
I love it. I can't wait to hang out with you and play some ball on the Reviver courts.
Looking forward to it.
That's awesome. That is David Cooper. This is the Dynamo Show. My name is James Erdt, and I am so privileged and grateful and honored to have such amazing guests, not only on this show, but the past 14 before this 15th episode. We will see you at episode number 16.